Okay. So this is going to be kind of a rolling, maybe stops and starts. We're going to try to get through as much as we can for some of the easier things, hopefully starting with. Let's start with 790 and 1109. This public health reform, the thing that we're on second on.
Finance is primary on these two bills, so I will just go over House Bill 1109 and Senate Bill 790. As amended, they alter the membership duties, leadership, and staffing of the Commission on Public Health, extend the Commission's termination date, require Department of Health to provide quarterly updates on implementation of their recommendations, in consultation with the Department and Health Services Cost Review Commission, must convene a Community Benefits Modernization Committee with associated reporting requirements. The bill also authorizes MDH to organize the Maryland Medical Reserve Corps and makes alterations to the Corps. It makes administrative changes related to county health officers and local health departments, requires Department of Health to consult with local health departments.
What's our part of it?
Your part of it, I believe there was a authorization for a transfer of funds to the, there's a workforce fund that was put in the bill. There is an amendment that clarifies that any of those transfers need to be consistent with the AHEAD model. I believe that is B&T's connection to that.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about this? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay.
So those are both be as amended.
As amended, yeah.
House Bill 1109 and Senate Bill 790.
Yeah, we're second. Okay, 587.
House Bill 587 would repeal exemptions for capital expenditures and land purchases of $5 million or more by Department of Transportation and Maryland Transportation Authority in connection with state roads, bridges, and highways. Currently, those are not subject to BPW oversight and approval, so the bill would move projects above those thresholds under the purview of BPW. The bill also establishes requirement for BPW to adopt regulations for review of contract modifications greater than $1 million for such projects.
Okay, so this one, there's been a lot of conversation behind the scenes on, and what I'd like to do with it is turn it in. I think everybody wants to get there, but I'm not sure everybody feels like we can get there right now. And we're going to charge department with a study on how they are going to make it work. I want to make sure that things like federal implications don't interfere with that actions by the Board of Public Works doesn't slow down a process that deals with some federal money, things like that. There's some issues that are hanging out there. So what I want to do with this, and although we don't have the language in front of us, it will be some sort of study as opposed to moving forward with the bill as is. Yeah.
My biggest concern with the whole thing is putting decisions like this before the Board of Public Works, who, to me, I don't know that they have the training to even make those decisions. That's my big question.
Okay, well, that will come up in a study.
All right.
Is it? Yes.
I was supportive of the bill. It's a Black Caucus priority. I think just recognizing, like, in the MTA process, if it didn't go through the Board of Public Works, we wouldn't have known that so much more money was necessary for the purple line from that standpoint. So just having an extra set of eyes and having some level of transparency is helpful, in my opinion, and just figuring out the threshold, the appropriate steps is
I think probably everybody agrees with that.
Yeah.
I think the department agrees with it. Everybody agrees with it, but they're just We want to get it right.
No, I agree. I'm okay with that, but just
that's-
wanted to make sure that that was
Yep.
out there.
Understood.
Who is doing the study, I guess?
I mean, it's going to, I don't have the language yet because we're still trying to gather but I believe the department is going to be basically coming up with a analysis of what their situation is and how that will present what they think is the best way to move forward.
I have some I guess, okay. Would BPW staff be involved in that too?
I
Or-
don't know why they couldn't be, but that has not come up exactly in the fast-paced moments
I
of the
know,
last
I know,
minutes.
I know. Okay, okay, thanks.
But noted. We'll see what kind of language we get soon. Okay?
On that,
Yes.
I just want to, when we're doing it and you're putting together the information, can we just make sure that we also like look at all the elements, including like minority business as a part of this process and how that may or may not be? I just would hope, I would, want that to make sure that's a part of this study. That's a part of it.
Okay.
Thank you. Yep.
All right. We'll see what we get. I suspect we're going to hear something by the end of the day that will have language. Okay. 590.
House Bill 590 is a local Howard County bill, renames the Howard County Agricultural Land Preservation Fund, and specifies the purpose of the fund. The committee has a local letter of support.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay.
You're going to do that one, I guess.
Was that?
You're gonna
Yeah, we're going to get language later. Yep. 898. The Decade Act.
House Bill 898, Decade Act. You should have a big old reprint on your desk for this
Big
one.
old.
So basically what the reprint is it's incorporating the provisions of the Senate bill as it passed the Senate onto the House version with just a couple of tweaks. So just to lay out the provisions that were in the House version as it came over and are staying in the bill. These are provisions that are altering and adding certain reporting requirements regarding various economic development programs and tax credits, requiring a letter from a governing body of a local jurisdiction to request financial assistance from the Maryland Economic Development Assistance Fund to include signatures of a majority of the members of the governing body, and altering certain provisions authorizing a certain guarantee or matching funds to be provided, maintaining the period of time for which a RISE zone may be renewed, altering eligibility for rental assistance under a RISE zone program, and altering certain reporting requirements for the program, and striking expanded eligibility for enhanced property tax credits under the enterprise zone program. So that's what was included in the House version as it came over and is staying in the bill. There's a couple tweaks that are also in there. In here on page 69 of the reprint, this alters the distribution of VLT proceeds to SMWOBA so that $5 million are allocated to Ms. Bidfa. And also the other tweak is that the bill strikes provisions repealing the limit on the aggregate amount of tax credit certificates that may be awarded for a single film production activity. And so that's the bill with the agreed upon amendments.
Senator McCray?
I know this bill is important, and I know it's the second floor's bill, but is the department or somebody here they able to explain, like, I didn't understand what the letter is, and that version came over from the House, like, why was the local agencies having to get signed, what are they having to get signed off for?
I don't,
And if the
Familiar with this.
department, I just don't know.
I don't think
doubt there's
they're
anybody
here.
here.
I can try to contact them and
I just-
understand
Is
the
that the only
rationale
issue?
for.
The stuff that's from the House, the stuff in the Senate, I know because I was in the work group.
Yep.
The stuff in the House is all new stuff, and I just don't understand why we're doing it. It may be good rhyme or reason why we're doing it. I just want to understand why we're doing it.
Okay. So you're interested in all the stuff that came over from the House?
Pretty much, I wanted to stop him doing that first part of some of the stuff he was explaining to understand why.
Okay.
But the latter, like, does that stop? What's going on? Like, is it just you signing off?
Okay. Senator Stallings?
Yes, sir. On page 11, it states on line 12 and down how the subsection of the section, the governor may provide an appropriations, so it go from a may to a shall. The whole bill is just this part.
What's that?
It says the governor may provide an appropriation in the budget bill to account or fund for the specific and general purposes of the purpose. So is it a may or a shall?
That's existing law, and and that specific part is a may. And that's just, what that's doing is just changing the name of the fund from the Economic Development Opportunities Program account to the Strategic Closing Fund. So all that's being done there is just changing account to fund. But the governor may part is the
But
same.
it's always been that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I was going to suggest was that we could get the analyst from the House to get to whoever wanted to have that experience, maybe within the next,
Let me see if I can get him down here.
yeah, see if you can get them to, why don't you have them come at quarter after?
Okay.
Okay. All right, 9/11. It's the same thing, right?
Yes.
It's the exact thing we've already passed. I think we're just holding it because we might have thought we might have needed it for something else. But we don't. All's in favor? Opposed? Okay. Who had that last? Oh, that's right. Jennings had that last time. Okay. Well, while you're here, what's that?
1081.
1081. What? House. It's on the,
Nine.
it's on the sheet, yep. Yeah, we're not, we got more on this list though, yeah. 1149, House Bill.
House Bill 1149 is the state finance claims of the state settlement. The bill repeals the 2-year waiting period for the comptroller to settle a state claim that is in arrears. It allows the comptroller to settle the claim regardless of how long the claim has been in arrears. That's the only thing this bill does.
And this, there's no cross.
There's no cross.
Everybody understand this? Wants to be able to settle claims earlier. All's in favor? Aye. Opposed? Senator Lewis Young, you get it? Okay. House Bill 1554.
How,
Is that right? Huh. Yeah.
House Bill 1550, which one? You said
1554? That's your delegate, right?
Yeah, that's where I'm following.
Yeah. You haven't, you need to teach him a little better.
I
This bill requires the Comptroller's Office, in consultation with the Public Service Commission and the PJM interconnection, to study and report on exempting electricity from the sale and use tax if that electricity is purchased by a farmer to either raise livestock, prepare or tend to the soil, plant, service, harvest, store, clean, dry, or transport seeds or crop. The report must be submitted to the General Assembly by December 15th, 2026. It must include the fiscal impact of the sales and use tax exemption.
Just a study.
It's a study, there is no crossfire.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Senator Stallings? Okay. Let's go to... Can we? Yes. That was what I was just gonna call. I was trying to get the needs done. So, yeah.
Okay, House Bill 1243, this is a local bill, Prince George's County. This was held last time because there was an amendment, so we have an updated letter with the amendment. The amendment specifies the personal property that may be exempt and also clarifies that it's exempt from the municipal property tax.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Senator Augustine. Okay. Did you get a hold of her, by the way? Or I think it's a woman. Who's over there?
George Butler, he's
Oh,
coming.
he's going to come?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Perfect.
I could do the House version, the charter school bills is the same as the Senate. if we just-
Okay, yep. Let's do it.
This is House Bill 1430. There is a reprint on your desk. It's amended to conform to the Senate version, which is the version that passed this committee yesterday. The only difference is that there is at the end, there's going to be, for the Senate bill that's on the floor later, there's going to be a floor amendment adding this change at the very end to what is paragraph 8. So it just incorporates that into the committee amendments for that. But otherwise, it's the exact same.
What's it do? What's the amendment?
Oh, what's the amendment do?
Oh, the floor amendment part, it adds,
It's going to get worse. Before it gets better, I can tell you that.
so in the bill, the IAC must adopt regulations, and then what this amendment does is it clarifies that the regulations adopted must establish the procedure to comply with this section if a local school system submits a mid-year capital project funding request, and then also ensure that a public charter school receives funding under this subsection if the local school system rescinds a capital project funding request and the public charter school is subsequently eligible for funding under this subsection.
Okay. Questions? Up, Senator Lucio.
Well, it's actually submitted already, and I believe Senator Kagan is as well. Senator Kagan's amendment would be to state that state funds are only available to a school that is in good standing by their LEA. And my amendment would be to add a sunset provision that lapses this program if Maryland does not receive federal state charter school facilities incentive grant program requests. So I don't know if you want me to do it on the floor, if you want to pause this and get the amendment first. Your choice for timing.
I'm happy to consider them on the floor. I do not want to pause this, given the lateness of the session.
Okay. Senator Hellman.
I don't know. I understand Senator Kagan's. Can you explain what your amendment does?
It sunsets the bill probably for 3 years out, just in anticipation that we don't get the federal state charter school facilities incentive grants, because otherwise we would be liable unless there's a sunset.
Is most of this pass through money anyway?
No.
Okay, so that's where, can you explain?
Yeah, I can explain. The bill is drafted, both bills are drafted to have a modest amount of state money. We've taken, the bill came in at $1,600 a kid, and it's taken down to $200 a kid. And so it's designed to be made affordable. Now, there is a federal program that we can apply for that in the first 5 years could reimburse some of that, and we should apply for it. But given what's going on with federal money these days, making the program dependent on getting the federal money, I think is not the right thing to do. We should apply for it. We get it, that's great. If we don't get it,
You
it's a
still want
modest.
to use the $200.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, so we're not going to put those on anyway at the moment. We're not going to bring those up. But we are going to take it as amended in the reprint, right? It's in the reprint.
Yep.
In the House reprint or the Senate reprint?
House Bill 14.
In the House reprint. Okay. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Yes. Okay.
Is it put floor leader on that?
What's it? Yeah, where's the map?
And George is here.
Yes, I see George is here. So we're going to shift to that since you so kindly got over here quickly. Mr. Butler? So there was a request to understand the provisions that the House added, not just the policy pieces. We got the money piece, and we got the film tax credit. We got all that, just the smaller.
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. First, as you all are likely familiar, the House committee, or the House added a number of reporting requirements for various tax credits and economic development programs under the bill, just to gather additional information regarding the nature of the jobs that are being created, any associated benefits, as well as the types of companies that are being assisted by the various programs. With respect to MEDAF, the House retained a requirement under current law that requires local governments, or that allows the department or the authority to require a local government that seeks to participate in the program as a condition of that participation to have a matching grant. However, it removed the minimums that are currently in law, so it could be a de minimis value, but the House thought that there was value in at least leaving that option open for the department or the authority to exercise. In addition, it requires letters seeking to participate in the program to be signed by a majority of members of the governing body. That was largely just to ensure that no one representative of a jurisdiction could exercise authority on behalf of others without, a clear demonstration of the majority members being interested in participating. With respect to the RISE Zone program, it retained the current 5-year renewal period rather than the 10-year period under the bill.
Yes.
That provision, okay?
Yeah, please.
The one on the letters, how does that work for code versus charter? I mean, or does it not, is that not the level that we're talking about? Because we got a county executive.
So I think that in instances where it's, you have like county council involved, then I think that, or commission, then you'd be looking for multiple members of the commission.
Okay, I understand, but we are a county executive. And so would it require, I'm just trying to understand what it would, does it apply to charter counties? And if it does, the request has to come from our county council and not from our county executive?
I believe that would be the case, but I can confirm with you and get back to you as quickly as possible.
Thank you. Clarity would be good to know.
Understood.
Thank you.
Good question now.
Are you saying MEDAF, and you say like what does MEDAF do? I'm not familiar with it. Are you saying MEDAF?
MEDAAF, I believe, is the acronym.
I'll Google it too.
And there's a description of the program in the fiscal note. I'm sorry, I don't have it immediately at recollection.
That's helpful.
Okay.
To get back to the RISE Zone program, with respect to the RISE Zone, it was maintaining the current 5-year renewal period rather than extending it to 10 years. In addition to that, with respect to the rental assistance provided under the program, currently that's limited to businesses that have only been in business for up to 7 years. The committee generally has felt that that's appropriate to try to provide rental assistance to a newer business rather than one that is more established. However, as amended, it does allow, so say you're a business that locates or relocates into the RISE zone and you've been around for 5 years. Under the current law, that rental assistance would have ended once you hit that 7 years. Instead, as amended, what it would allow you to do is you could get it for the full benefit of the 5-year period under the bill. So from 5 until 10. Let's see. As far as additional changes, add a purpose for the film production tax credit. And then with respect to the enterprise zone, they did strike the alterations to the property tax credit under the bill. And I believe that captures major programmatic changes and differences.
Other questions?
Only because it's new language, Mr. Chair. The letter thing, typically the executive, somebody out of the executive branch is doing now. It's the majority of the members, so I'm assuming that we're giving power to the legislative body.
I think that's outstanding.
I just wanted to just compound on what he was.
I'll be sure to follow up on that, Senators.
I mean, a lot of times the language usually gets governing body usually is an executive in that service, right?
I believe so, but I don't want to speak definitively, so I'll be sure to get back to you as quickly as possible.
Out of curiosity, I'll ask, what is it, for everyone involved at some level? Does that matter or not matter?
I'm just trying to understand
County council, they're not always
Right.
entirely, yeah, I'm just saying. So the county council could apply, or the county executive could, so just clarity on what that is in our current sort of framework. I understand in the commission, like that is pretty straightforward, if you're in a commission form.
Yeah. So was that further that actually gives the legislators?
I believe that is the intent, in that currently the request needs to come via a formal resolution by the governing body of the jurisdiction in which the project is located. And so to the degree that now a letter was being used as opposed to a formal resolution, I believe that the intent would be that it would still be a majority of members of your council rather than simply.
Okay, so it's trying to make it a little easier then.
Correct.
That's the point.
Correct.
Versus the resolution as the current law.
Correct. And so to the degree that you would have had, a resolution would have required majority of your council members to approve.
Right.
Then in this instance, it would just need to be majority signatories.
Got it.
So I apologize. Hopefully that's clear now.
George, when I look at page 19, line 22, you guys put back in the stuff where it says a letter, which I'm clear on would come from the executive order resolution, but in this line 22, it just kind of goes specifically to the letter, not the either or.
So with respect to that, the up above, that is, that pertains to, in addition to your letter, there, the Department of Commerce or the authority could request the local governing body, local government, sorry, for the project to have this demonstration of evidence of support. And that could either be by the guarantee or by financing part of the cost of the project. And that's under current law. And the bill as introduced would have removed that requirement. The committee thought it was best to maintain that. But as indicated earlier, there is no minimum threshold of what that financial support needs to be now in the bill. That would just, you know, it could be de minimis, as indicated earlier.
I think you know what I'm saying, like, I think it was either or, and then in line 22, you guys kind of put new language where the letter submitted by this looks like a legislative body where the executive no longer is in the equation in this new language.
Could I follow up with you
Yeah,
separately?
No problem, yeah, yep.
Okay, where's Corey? Well, you're good on this now, right?
I'm great on it. I told you that.
I know you said you were great. I just didn't know
How great.
how great. That's right. All right. Now, on decade, everything,
Move the bill as amended.
right, and we're putting both bills, everybody's all set with both bills in the same place, everything's good. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Senator Augustine. Okay, now we're going to go back to 587. And we have a special guest, straight from the second floor. First in our hearts. And he has some language that he's going to share with us about what the study as it relates to this bill would look like, and all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members of the committee, appreciate you letting me hop in here on a sort of quick moving issue. The proposal MDOT would convene an interim work group to study implications of altering the approval authority structure for road, bridge, and highway projects. The work group will explore the appropriate process for engaging BPW at the project level, including but not limited to notifications, updates, approvals, et cetera, for new contracts and construction contract change orders. Furthermore, the work group will explore alternative options to enhance transparency regarding the award of contracts and change orders for roads, bridges, and highway projects, and examine the impact on project award and completion timelines, and consider the potential for expanding this provision to fixed guideway systems under MTA. A report, including recommendations, would be provided by December 1st, 2026. In establishing that work group, MDOT will engage BPW, MGA leadership, industry representatives, MBE representatives, and other stakeholders as appropriate. Roughly around this time last year, we made a similar agreement on MTA. That work group met through the year and came through with a bill that seemed to meet the goals and needs of the General Assembly. We look forward to trying to do the same thing here.
I can appreciate that, but MDOT doing it, it's like, this doesn't quite seem like that is necessarily the appropriate sort of independent look at this process. Obviously, we need their expertise, without a doubt. Without a doubt, we need their expertise. But I'm just saying, it just feels like that's kind of inside baseball-ish, a little bit.
I understand the concern.
How was the MTA work group that we did structured? I know we had a chair that I don't feel like worked for MDOT, and folks were inclusive. How did we get to that chair?
I want to say that chair was appointed by the governor, if I remember correctly, Senator.
I also just want to lean in. I think that the new secretary should probably be engaged. Walter Simmons.
Dosum, yeah. Not in the language that you've got, but in other iterations of what we've been working on over the last couple of hours, we've included them, and I think that's a absolutely good flag, sir.
Okay. Have we run it past the Black Caucus chair too? You guys working in concert with him?
No, but I literally just was talking to Senate leadership and trying to put something together as requested.
Got it.
Do we need a little more time on this?
I would definitely run it past.
Okay.
Not a lot.
Okay. We can get it done by the time we, if not, obviously in the next half an hour, which would be a bit much, but by maybe we could get it done before, after we done, by the time we finish tonight in session.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Senator.
I think that it can still start. The elements and everything else, for me, is just making sure that we got the structure of it. It would be great to get it rolling. You know what I mean? So we kind of know what it looks like a little bit more. I mean, conceptually, I'm following, but that would be helpful, I think.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times we offer, and this is, and generally it's in bills, sir, but I think working in conjunction with DLS, I think that's kind of language we've seen in sort of similar situations to this. I don't think that would be an issue for us.
So are you comfortable voting on this concept?
I am. I mean, I wouldn't, unless you're not. I mean, you're not quite there yet.
Before you vote on the concept, okay?
Yeah, and Mr. Chair, like this is obviously as a concept for a letter. If this goes in a bill, I don't think we'd have an issue there either. I just am trying to understand. You're talking about voting, so that was why I was.
Oh, those are two different things then. I think we were talking about legislation though.
Yeah, I was just going to change it
Okay,
out.
again,
I was going to change it out.
Senator, I'm just trying to make sure I understand. I understand where we're at
well,
because we sort
I don't know.
of interchanged them a little bit. Is all.
Is it too much to ask for you to try to get it to the Black Caucus in the next couple hours?
Yeah, no, we can handle that.
Yeah, and see where we are from there. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right. What were we? There was another one I was supposed to do. What did you have? Yeah. I feel like there was something else. What was that? There was another one. Okay. 358. Okay.
It's the same posture as Senate Bill 403 that passed the Senate unanimously earlier this session. Both fingers.
Okay. All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Whoever had that, I don't know who had that. Of course, okay. All right. 1081.
1080, House Bill 1081 was primary in finance. We're secondary, budget and tax is secondary on this bill. It's the same as the cross-file Senate Bill 947. There are a couple of technical differences that were fixed in the House. Otherwise, the bill is exactly the same, and the Senate bill passed unanimously 44-0 earlier this session.
What's it do?
This is the Maryland Transit Administration Reform Act.
Okay. Okay, so do we have to get them in the same, are they going to put ours in their? I think Corbin's going to.
The amendments, the technical amendments.
Okay, very good. All those in favor with the amendments? Opposed? Okay. And that was, whose bill was it?
Finances.
That was
primary.
finances. Yippee. All right. Senate Bill 59.
Senate Bill 59 and House Bill 437 are cross files. You should have on your desk a reprint for House Bill 437. We discussed this bill on yesterday.
Now,
The
this is a
bill,
different reprint, right?
it's a updated
There's
reprint.
one change in this from yesterday, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, why don't you describe that change?
The change is on page 8 of the reprint, to section 2906, and it allows the secretary to waive the mitigation requirements under certain circumstances.
Could you repeat?
Page 8 at the bottom after line 28. It adds a waiver provision. It authorizes the secretary to waive the requirements if the deferral would materially harm the state's economic growth, documented housing needs, transportation demand tied to population and land use, ability to support critical employment centers, freight corridors, response to an emergency, or other key economic assets.
Okay, if there's no questions, is there a motion for the complete reprint? Second. Okay. All right, all those in favor of the reprint version, complete reprint version, say, raise your hand. Okay. Opposed? Okay. All right. I think that's it for today. What else do we have? Anything? Oh, I actually have one too. Sorry. Which one? What do you have? Oh, the joint audit.
House Bill 1557, this bill was not cross-filed. The bill, as it came over from the House, would establish a real estate advisory group in the Department of General Services to advise DGS, BPW, and the General Assembly on industry trends, developments, and movement in the commercial real estate sector, and best practices for real estate asset management in the state. The bill also, as it came over from the House, applies some requirements for the state's acquisition of real property to go through an LPC process. And I believe Senator Heddleman had an amendment to offer.
Yes, I have an amendment to just make this, the committee to take out the LPC reporting requirements.
So that amendment would be to strike the provisions in the bill starting on page 6, line 26, through the end of the bill, page 13, line 24. That would remove the LPC process. So the bill would just be the Real Estate Advisory Committee.
Why would we an LPC?
Well, this would require LPC to have a lot of reports, and the idea was to use the interim to really look at this process and to perhaps come back with something next year, but to get this advisory group in place and to give us a little more time. It's just, I think there are often challenges to getting LPC to focus on things, and so if they're getting an inordinate number of these, which this bill would require, it would be a challenge to get folks to focus on each individual thing. So I think all acknowledge that there are issues here and want a little more time and space to kind of perhaps come back next year with some better oversight.
Right, and to be clear,
This will be a start.
yeah, if you look at page 10 of the bill, it's not just notice to LPC, it's a lot of extra information that would be required before the BPW could consider something.
Okay. All those in favor as amended by the Heddleman amendment? Aye? Opposed? Okay. Let's talk about the horse racing bill, which is now beyond that. What's that? What number is it?
House Bill 1581.
1581. So broadly speaking, this bill came in as sort of a critical component to get the numbers right in terms of financing, to keep moving forward with the arrangements that we've already agreed to on Pimlico / Laurel now. And we have agonized over the numbers and have ensured that the bonding is correct, that the money flow is correct, and so that all works. We've also increased in this $25 million to the Blue Line Corridor, and that $25 million also is correctly, the bonding associated with that is correct. It's consistent that 25%, it was at 400 million before, now it's at 425. That number is consistent, that 25 million is consistent with what we had to do with the racing bill to go from 375 to 400. So that all works out. And then there are also provisions that relate to the bus rapid transit system, and that is the numbers on that we're still working through, but the two jurisdictions that are working on that, primarily Montgomery, but also Howard has this link in along 29 with the project that Montgomery is doing. So there will be a little bit of money in that, although that is outside of the bonding issue. That's simply transportation trust fund stuff. So that's the picture. Was there anything I missed on that? And I just wanted you all hear about that.
I didn't hear the beginning part. I just heard you talk about the bonding for the Blue Line Corridor or something, Howard.
The bonding originally, the bill came in originally to deal with what's going on at Pimlico. That bonding was worked out. We worked out the debt payments, which ended up being sort of a complicated discussion that went on for a number of days, but everything is correct. Pimlico, Laurel, the whole plan is set there, and there's the money, and everything is in the appropriate amounts, not to cause any problems to the stadium authorities' ability to ensure that everything is handled. Also, there are some provisions in there about there was a deal that was struck a couple of years ago and then somehow got changed inadvertently in the BRFA about 10% profit sharing with the community in Pimlico. But that's essentially it. The only other piece that I forgot to mention is there is for Anne Arundel County, as it relates to Laurel, there's a $5 million grant to deal with backstretch housing, which has been a kind of not a pretty mark on our state, given the way people have been living in those housing. So those are all the component parts.
Help me understand, how did transportation deal with horse racing, or like the Pimlico and the Laurel?
So BRT was funded originally by 27 million from lottery revenues. It shifted to 17 million with lottery revenues and 10 million from transportation trust fund. And so this is sort of a continuation of that, because it's mixed into the, if you will, the chart in looking out all of this stuff covers, and all of these things are covered by the amount of lottery revenues that are needed to provide for the appropriate bond payments. We can talk about some of this offline. We don't have to handle this right now.
Okay.
I just wanted to put all this out here, and we'll be talking about this maybe later tonight, but certainly by tomorrow.
I'd like to talk about it.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I took all I took all the steam out of your presentation, didn't I? I've just been living this one. Anything else? Do we have another one? We're done? All right. Any broader questions? We go to the floor in 15 minutes, and if you have anything that comes up, let me know quickly. All right, thank you all.